I was nervous at first, but now I'm not as nervous now.
No, it's
I'm
easy.
sure a lot of people come in nervous at first.
Yes, especially, since my channel got more popular, it just becomes difficult to sit down and do an interview. Just get people get all worked up. I get some people that show up sometimes, especially women who will show up looking like they're going to the Academy Awards.
Oh, wow.
But they're a fentanyl addict or whatever on the street.
I was like, is this too fancy for your channel?
Well, your story is a little different than the addict stories.
Yeah.
And we were just talking off camera about what to title your video. So you are, you do a myriad of different sex work.
Yes, I do. So I am currently doing adult films. I do OnlyFans content, and I do escorting as well.
And you've worked in a brothel.
Yes, and I've worked in a brothel. I worked at the Bunny Ranch.
Strip clubs?
Yes, strip clubs too. That's where I started. I started in the strip clubs. The first strip club that I started in, this was in Vegas. I don't want to name.
How did you get started in sex work?
I got started I got started in sex work because I moved out to Vegas from small town Georgia. Me and my mom moved out to Vegas on $500. We went to motels first before we got an apartment. And then me and my mom were talking about it, and she's like, you need a sugar daddy. So
What's your mom's background?
My mom, she was a cocktail waitress. So that's what she did.
Not many moms would tell you to become a sugar baby.
Not many. It was interesting. So she saw it on Dr. Phil, actually. And, they glamorize it. They make it look very very different than what the reality of it is. You know what I mean? So it was the Sugar Daddy website, and then I went on there, and quickly I realized most of these guys were looking more for escorts. They weren't necessarily looking for like dating, sugar baby dating, and that sort of thing. So I slowly got into escorting that way. I started with just going to dinner, getting paid for dinner dates. And then I finally warmed up to doing escorting. The first strip club I worked at was in Vegas. And there's only 2 clubs that you could work at the time in Vegas if you're under 21. So I went to a strip club, got hired there. Everyone was really nice, but it was basically like an underground brothel. And everyone there was always doing extras.
A lot of strip clubs do that.
Yeah, and see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that because I was 19 years old. I was just getting started in it. I thought this is gonna be like, a regular strip club, right? And then I had heard from other people. They started saying, well, they only hire girls that do extras, and they only keep them around because they're tipping good and that kind of thing. So that's what it was. That's basically how I got started into that.
And then that led to the escorting thing, and probably the brothel.
Yes. So
and then porn, and then OnlyFans.
Yeah. So I started doing porn at 30, which I'm glad that I did that because back when I was 19, 20 years old, I wasn't mature enough to do it, and it's hard because back then I didn't really know how to say no to a lot of things. So I'm glad that I started at the age that I did. I went to the Bunny Ranch. There's this show called The Secrets of the Bunny Ranch. The Bunny Ranch was it was a very interesting experience. So at the Bunny Ranch, it was like you're basically all living together. I was only there for 2 to 3 weeks. Some girls live there full time. You have to give the house 50%, and you have to pay for your room fee. So a lot of the girls, they just weren't the nicest there. And I had a friend that I met her off of X, online. And we actually had the same porn agent at the time. And I was brand new to porn, and she was brand new to porn. So we actually got rooms next to each other, so it made it a little bit more fun. But they were very strict with what we could do. We were trying to go on OnlyFans Live. And they come in and they're like, hey, we need 50% of this. And we're like, what? We're paying for the room. What do you mean? We're not allowed to do what we want to do in our own rooms that we're paying for? And I've heard other brothels are a lot better than the Bunny Ranch. I've heard different girls have better experiences at different brothels.
I think everybody you're going to encounter in that whole industry is probably looking out for their own pockets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I get that, but it's just kind of ridiculous to say, well, you're paying for the room and you still have to pay 50% for something that they're not really a part of.
How do you feel about being a sex object, basically?
So it's interesting. I wanted to come on here and kind of humanize myself where people could see the real backstory of who I am as a person, where they wouldn't look at me as a sex object as much.
Tell me about how you grew up.
So I grew up in a small town in Georgia. I grew up middle class. My dad worked a blue-collar job. Nothing really bad happened in my childhood. It was just my mom and dad were arguing a ton. Overall, I had a decent childhood. And then I moved to Vegas, and Vegas was totally different because I'm used to small town Georgia. You know, it's a completely different ballpark. And growing up, my mom always wanted me to get into like mainstream acting or modeling.
Your mom wanted you to be an actress?
Yes.
Or a model?
Yes. So I didn't get into the acting as much. I did do some modeling. I did convention modeling and glamour modeling, which is basically bikini lingerie modeling. And I modeled some conventions in Vegas and stuff like that. So I did that for a while, but modeling, honestly, it doesn't pay as good as what you would think. Same thing with adult films. You know, people think that if you do an adult film, you're rich. And that's not the case at all. So we don't get any residuals.
Have you found sex work to be, in general, as lucrative as you were hoping?
I mean, it definitely can be. It definitely can be. But it depends on the situation. So, like, people, you know, they assume that adult film stars are making a killing and we're famous, so we're making all this money, and they associate the fame with the money, right? And it's like, in reality, we are getting what I would consider underpaid. We're getting underpaid. We're not getting residuals. And then say we go to one of the conventions, one of the events to meet fans, right? So the next convention I'm going to is Exotica in New Jersey. So when we go to Exotica or AVN or any of these conventions, we have to pay for our own flight. We have to pay for our own hotel room, everything. We have to front it ourselves. And the fans think that we are just making all this money. And it's like, well, we sell like prints. We do Exotica. They let you do lap dances. So it's like prints, selfies, all that, right? And sometimes girls go minus, to be honest with you. If they're not escorting, they could go minus.
Losing money.
Losing money. Yeah. Yeah, and people don't expect that. They think, oh, well, you do adult films. You have so much money. You're so famous. You're so, you know, it's like, yeah, we're out to the public eye, but, like, we're fronting all this money ourselves.
Do you have children?
No.
Have you had romantic relationships?
Yes, I have.
And how do you find being a sex worker affects your relationships?
I think it's definitely harder, but honestly, like, a lot of girls would say it was harder once they got into doing adult films. For me, it's not really harder because I have been, you know, doing sex work since I was 18, 19 years old. So I don't really know any different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I don't feel like it affects me any differently. Yes, it is harder. But I've been doing it for so long. So
I'm not familiar with your work, but I assume there's probably videos of you doing all kinds of things with all kinds of guys.
Yes.
And if a guy is looking you up online, that's got to be hard for him to watch, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be a very open-minded person. You have to be a very open-minded person to see that and to see, like, okay, she's more than that. Like, I actually like this girl. It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a special guy to handle that.
Absolutely.
Are you happy doing this?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
That's good. And what does mom think of it now?
Okay, so she's not, as weird as it's gonna sound, she's not a big fan of the porn stuff. I think maybe because it's on the internet, it's all over the place. You know, like that's the thing with porn is it used to be a lot more, I wouldn't say low key. I would just say it was less accessible when it was just DVDs. Now everyone wants to do porn. Everyone wants to do OnlyFans. Everyone thinks that they're going to make a killing doing this job. And it's not true. You know, because I know girls that I'm like, okay, this girl's super pretty. She does OnlyFans and she's like making like $500 a month.
Yeah, but it's a gigantic.
It's oversaturated.
Well, it's a crazy industry how much money they make.
Yeah.
And how much exposure you guys will get.
Yeah, the exposure is definitely good.
Do you get recognized when you go out and about?
I do.
Yeah.
I get recognized mostly at it's like really awkward places. So I get recognized at the airport. I get recognized at Universal Studios and Disney. And I'm like, this is not really an appropriate place to come up to me. But if you want to come up to me, say hi, whatever. But you know, at the airport, like, okay, but Universal Studios, Disney is kind of one of those things. Like, I try not to leave. I mostly stay inside. But then I went to New York recently. And in New York, people were, I went to the bar by myself, just wanting to have like a good dinner and a couple drinks. People were coming up to me and they knew who I was and they wanted like selfies and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we could take a selfie. Like, I have to be nice.
Is that why you stay inside mostly?
Yeah.
So you end up becoming a little bit of a recluse.
Yeah.
Because of your, is there shame that you feel about it?
I don't mind if people come up to me. It depends on how they approach me. Like,
what are most of the approaches like?
So if someone approaches me and they're like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. I really like you.
They're respectful.
Yeah, that's great. But if someone comes up to me and they're showing me, like, at the airport and they're drunk as fuck and they're showing me naked pictures of their wife and they're like, hey, do you want to fuck me and my wife? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, some people just have a very, like, they have a very respectful way of coming up to me, or they'll just, like, message me on X or email me after and be like, hey, it was so good seeing you at this, wherever I was at. You're so beautiful. You're more beautiful in person. Okay, that I'm fine with. It depends on what you say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
That's a hard one. That is a hard one. I guess I would say with doing, so when you're doing escorting, it's a bit more underground, right? It's a bit more,
before the internet.
Yeah. Now it's like when you're out on the internet, like, you're out and everyone's gonna approach you.
There's 12-year-old kids watching your stuff.
Oh, I don't want that. You know, I mean, yes, but that's not appropriate for them.
No, it isn't.
But what can we do?
Yeah.
I mean, what can we do, though? It's like, I've heard that porn has gotten banned in certain states, but when it comes down to it, it really comes down to the parents monitoring it.
What do you think of porn as an industry?
I like it. So I actually really like the acting. As stupid as that's gonna sound. I like the acting. I like reading the scripts. I enjoy doing that. That's fun to me.
But
I like playing the characters.
In terms of what it does to society.
What it does to society?
And relationships between men and women.
Well, it depends. There's so many people nowadays that are, you know, there's a lot of incels on the internet. I don't think that should be a thing. I really don't. I think that men should approach women. If they get rejected, oh well. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that has brought in a lot of the fear of rejection from men. So
I find it interesting now that we live in a time where, because of technology, I hate to be so crude, but like guys who are a 2 or 3 can interact with a girl who's a 10. And they're used to that now. They can do that every night of the week.
Yeah.
And that's their new thing. So when they get out in the real world and try to find a partner, they're so distorted and out of touch with the reality. Mm-hmm. They're not improving themselves, so they actually could be a viable partner for that type of girl.
Right. So
or not that type of girl necessarily, but a very attractive female.
Yeah. So with like most guys I'm friends with, I try to tell them, I'm like, hey, you know, like it's like if you're not, it's fine if you're not attractive. It's fine if you're awkward. It's fine. Like I'm very open to everyone, right? But I think that some guys need to go for girls that are more like on their level.
Yeah,
but
they have no idea what their level is because there's a girl who makes love to them every night of the week on the internet.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know, that's the problem. Like, I wish more guys would forget about the internet stuff and go back to reality of what it is. Like, you can date someone who's on your level and they're so pretty.
It's almost
cute.
like you need some kind of, like, you get rated as a 2 or 3, and if you're a 2, you can only find porn.
Oh my gosh, no. They
level.
should look for real relationships. That's what I feel.
Well, no shit. Yeah, that is definitely the case. But it's like it's a free for all. It's just a free for all. I think it's destroying society.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
it's so much different than what it used to be before the internet days. Like before the internet days, I feel like people mostly just dated within like what they thought. Like, okay, she's in my league. Okay, I think she'd be a good partner. Now it's just so different.
And it motivated a young man to become a better version of himself.
Yeah.
Maybe the best version of himself if he has enough strength and courage. Now it's like, I don't have to do shit. I just go to my phone and go to Pornhub and I can have all the fun I want and go to bed and tomorrow's another day and I'll do it again. And it's just.
I don't think like just dealing with women online is very healthy for men.
No, it's not. Definitely not.
I don't. Even though I do porn.
What is the female equivalent of that? Because I'm sure there's some way that it's bad for women as well.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of women, because nowadays, like anyone can do pretty much. Anyone can do adult films.
I see a lot of women doing sex work.
Yes, anyone could do OnlyFans, especially OnlyFans.
Well, OnlyFans or this like escorting kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of escorts. There's a lot more escorts. Like when I first started escorting, there wasn't that many girls that were doing it. Like because I was in Vegas and I pretty much knew all the girls that were doing it. Now it's like you look at the ads, there's like 1,500 women in LA. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's very crazy. No, I don't think everyone should do it. I don't think it's for everyone. You have to be a certain type of person.
What qualities do you need to have in order to do this kind of work?
I think you have to be able to deal with rejection really well. I think that you also have to be kind of more on the tough side. And you can't be too sensitive. And you have to be very careful. You have to be very sharp. You can't just let whoever, God only knows who, walk in your room. Like, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Do you feel vulnerable sometimes?
Sometimes. But I try to be extremely careful.
How many years have you been doing it?
I mean, on and off since I was 19. I'm 33.
How have you changed since you started doing this kind of work?
Well, since I started doing adult films, I'm a lot more careful. Because people, for whatever reason, when they see you do adult films, they get a lot crazier.
But in terms of like your view, your attitude about love, like true love, like how has that changed?
Not really.
No? You still believe in love?
I do believe in love. I do believe in love with the right person. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's got to have an open mind now.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And yeah, it's interesting because some people, like even, you talk to some like adult film stars and they're okay with their partner doing adult films, but they're not okay with their partner escorting. I find that very interesting. It's very interesting to me because to me it's the same thing, right? One's on camera, one's off camera. But to them it's a whole different thing.
And you don't work with a pimp or anything like that?
No.
That's
I never
good.
have.
That's great.
Thank you.
Is it a lonely life?
It can be. I just try to talk to my friends a lot. Yeah, I try to like meet up with my friends, go to lunch, go to dinner. I just try to be, stick to my friends and stuff, and then I feel less lonely.
What is your dream? What do you hope happens one day? Do you have like a pretty woman thing?
Pretty woman.
No, I don't know.
No, I would like to actually find like a real relationship. Like, forget all the money and all that.
That's kind of the pretty woman thing.
Well, they want like the rich guy.
He just happened to be rich, yeah.
Right. I would like to be in a real relationship. Kids, I'm undecided about kids. The reason why is because a lot of porn stars, which I'm not judging them, but they have kids. I don't know if I want to bring a child into that or not, because they're going to find out, and you have to have that hard conversation with them. But yeah, I would like to get into a relationship. I'd like to do other things. I'd like to do makeup. That's really my passion. I love doing makeup.
Yeah, the porn OnlyFans thing is problematic in that when you're desperate for money and your back's against the wall, that seems like, okay, I'll just do it.
Right.
And then you just didn't realize you pulled the trigger on something that's going to follow you forever.
Pretty much. So I thought, like with porn, I thought it was still more of like an underground thing. Like it wasn't that like, and I'm like, now it's to the point where I feel like it's like almost like being on Netflix.
It is.
It's very, 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 very public. And I didn't realize how public it was until I started doing it. And then I was like, wow, this is a very public thing.
Yeah, I think it's probably a very common thing. Do you think you're addicted to this fast money lifestyle?
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It would be hard to make a complete like life change. Honestly, it would be hard.
What have you learned about human nature after being a sex worker for a dozen years?
I guess I would say I've learned that a lot of people are looking for sex workers. They're looking for girls to talk to, but they really need to seek therapy and other help. But they're using sex work to basically like have someone to talk to, which I'm always open to talk with them, but I'm not a professional.
And as far as the escort type work you do, I'm sure a lot of your clients are married.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does that do to your view of marriage?
I feel like if people were more honest with each other, it would be so much better. Like, for example, say if I was to get into a relationship, if someone told me the honest truth, hey, I'm going to meet up with this girl, we're going to have some fun, this is what we're going to do, I would be okay with that. Now, everyone would be, but I would be okay with that. I just want to know the honest truth. I don't think that there's any point in lying, going behind people's backs and things like that. I just think that that's like ridiculous, and I don't think that that should be okay at all.
Relationships are tricky.
They are. I feel like honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
That is a hard one. I would probably explore some other avenues besides sex work as I was doing sex work. I think that the girls that are going to school and doing other things, have other things going for them, I think that that's honestly the smart way to go. But I was actually homeschooled. So it's a bit different because most of the girls, they have their GED, they can go to college, things like that. And I kind of wish I got my GED and just went to school in the meantime.
What kind of things would you have pursued, do you think?
I considered nursing. To do Botox, lip injections, all of that. But nursing is very, very tough. I have friends that are nurses, so I know how difficult that job is. I consider that. And then also doing makeup. Being a makeup artist.
Mm-hmm. But those are careers that you won't have to age out.
Right. Yeah.
Have you considered that?
Yeah, I'm still considering that.
No, but like you're not 21, you're 23, you're 33. So it's like the end is probably coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone has at some point. I mean, there's adult film stars that do it till they're 50, mid 50s, which is fine. I wouldn't really, if I had a choice, I wouldn't really want to do that when I'm in my 50s. You know what I mean? Like, I'd want to do other things. So.
But are you making tons of money and you have savings?
I don't have savings. Yeah. That's one thing I need to work on.
After 12 years, you should have a nice bankroll.
I did. And then moving to California. When I was in Vegas, it was so much easier to save. Moving to California is so ridiculously expensive. And then along with the rent, the gas, food, everything is being crazy expensive. Then the traveling on top of that becomes really expensive.
Sure.
And I don't think any girl, like most girls, like they spend their money, like, you know, on shopping and stuff.
And you live in LA now or Vegas?
I live in LA.
You live in LA?
Well, I live in the Valley.
Okay. Which is
Woodland Hills.
Epicenter of the porn industry, right?
Yes, that's why I live there.
What kind of things have you seen in that industry? Have you seen crazy behavior?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You see everything.
Tell me, give me an example or two.
You see everything. You see some people that are more normal, and I find it very interesting when people that have college degrees, they're very educated.
Yeah, I've interviewed porn actors who are as cool as can be.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah. When you see some people that have come from a better childhood, a better family upbringing, they've came from money, and yet they're doing porn, I'm like, why are you guys doing this?
There's a lot of suicides in that industry.
Absolutely.
So that tells you something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with the suicide thing, it's a lot of the online bullying. The online bullying is just terrible. You know, it just comes down to, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. And, you know, back, like, when I was growing up, if you said something like the way people talk on the internet, you would get your ass kicked. Like,
the secret to all that is just ignore it all.
Yeah, ignore it all. But people, a lot of adult film stars don't. They let it get to them. And then, you know, obviously drugs might play a part.
It's cancerous if you read it.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to have children?
Maybe. I'm not too sure.
And then, you know, if you do, you have to consider that one day your kid will be, your son will be 12 years old, and his friends are going to be pointing out that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm not sure about it, because it's something that, you know, you have to have a hard conversation with your child. Everyone does eventually. Everyone in the adult industry, like, well, especially when you do porn and OnlyFans and those kind of things are out to the public, like escorting, dancing, you can hide that a bit more. But yeah, you have to have that hard conversation. And
it also changes the way your child sees you, perhaps.
Absolutely, yeah.
After that, too.
Yeah.
That's got to be traumatic for your son or daughter.
Oh, yeah, and especially depending on, like, what level of fame the parents are on.
Yeah. Technology really just turned what might have been a questionable decision into a really big one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so different now. Like, when there was just DVDs, I feel like it was a bit different. Like, people could get away with it a little bit more. Now it's like everything's on the internet, and it's on the internet forever. So you have to, if you have a child, you have to tell them. I mean, you can't hide it from them forever.
What's the best thing that's come from your decision to be a sex worker?
I would just say the friends that I've met. Yeah, I've met some really cool girls.
That helps.
Yeah.
And let me ask you one last question, Tiffani. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Most important lesson I've learned is to never give up, even when life is hard, even when you're struggling, even if you don't have any money left. Don't ever give up on life. Just keep going. Things get better eventually. It turns around.
You got to be tough.
Yes, you have to be tough.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Tiffani Madison?
Tiffani Madison.
Tiffani Madison. Tiffani, thank you so much for sharing your story, and I wish you lots of luck from here on out.
Thank you.
Thank you. When I was designing the first Soft White Underbelly book, I realized that there were so many great portraits that weren't going to make it into that book. They just wouldn't fit. And once I saw how well that first book sold, I knew I'd have to design a second book. This second book is finally ready to ship. Like the first one, this book has a collection of some of the best portraits from Soft White Underbelly, accompanied by a quote from that person's interview. This book features another group of Rebecca portraits, as well as a collection of color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty of others. You can order yours for $125 or $150 for a signed copy at softwhiteunderbelly.org. Again, like the first book, once this book is sold out, I will not be printing more of them. The portraits are what Soft White Underbelly is all about, and these two books contain the best of all that work. Thank you for watching.